Do you want to start streaming on Twitch? I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know so easily that even your grandma can do it. Well, maybe not your grandma, but if your mom knows at least how to send text messages through her phone, then she'll be able to understand. So if that sounds good to you, then make sure to drop a quick like on the video so other people can easily find this video. The very first thing that we need to do is go over to twitch.tv. You're going to go to the top right corner and you should see a sign up button. You're going to make a Twitch account. I know, seems obvious, right? But some people might skip this step, so don't be one of those people, all right? As you can see here, we've been streaming on Twitch for over 6 years now. It's pretty disgusting. And I will teach you guys how to customize your channel to make it look nice and pretty and everything you'll need to know about streaming later in this playlist. But for now, I'll just cover how to stream. So once you've made a Twitch account, then you're good to go for this step. Next thing we need is what's called a streaming software, and that's going to allow us to put our camera, our game, and basically design our live stream for our viewers to see. We'll be using OBS Studio for this video, and I'll make sure to leave everything I talk about linked in the description down below. So you're going to click on whichever platform that you use, and you're going to download the OBS Studio program. Then you're going to run the installation like any other piece of software, and I'll see you on the other side. Once you open up OBS Studio, you'll see this disgusting looking gray, bleak kind of looking software, but that's all right because it's going to get the job done, even if it does look ugly AF. So in order to cheer ourselves up, we're going to take a very quick detour. If you're wondering how everyone spices up their stream, making it look really cool, this is going to be your one-stop shop for basically everything you're going to need for streaming. I'll leave a link down below this video, and lucky for us, they also sponsored it too, so high five. But basically, you can navigate through the top, and they have a bunch of different packages, alerts, panels, banners, emotes, badges, pretty much everything you're going to need. But my favorite thing about them is actually their stream design bestseller packages, because it has everything you could possibly want all in one cohesive package. So if you click on a package, for example, and we go on the left-hand side, I'm going to click a few down. It'll give you an animated preview of what's included in this package. So you'll see it has a bunch of animated different alerts. It's got panels to put below your Twitch stream. It has different animated webcam overlays to put around your webcam to make it look nice. It's got pretty much everything you're going to need. And it's just a really easy, nice way to make your Twitch channel look very professional and clean. So I'll leave a link down below once again, and you can also use coupon code Cpaws for 50% off your purchase. But let's go back to OBS Studio. So now that we're back to this ugly duckling of a program, right here, this main screen right here, this little black box is going to be our stream preview. So this is what your viewers are going to see when you start streaming. Obviously, it's black right now because, you know, we haven't done anything yet. So we need to start designing this bad boy. But before we do that, we're going to look in the bottom left corner and we have a little scenes tab. And a scene is a collection of sources. And now a source, if you click the plus button, these are different little puzzle pieces to put in your puzzle. So for example, we can add our game capture, we can add our webcam, we can add all of these different little puzzle pieces on the screen, so we'll be able to design our stream. Now, scenes are a collection of sources. So for example, we can have a just chatting scene where our webcam is the full screen and then we have some chat. Well, let's say you want to play a game, right? So you can make an extra scene and we'll call it gaming, and we can, okay. And so we can have this scene be just the game and then our webcam smaller. So that way you can switch between scenes simply by clicking them. Easy enough, right? Next to these tabs, we have the audio mixer, which is currently blank, but don't worry, we're gonna add some audio sources and we'll be able to see the volume levels as well as adjust the volume to make them quieter or louder. Next to that, we have scene transitions, which I'll touch on later. And then we have controls, which I will also touch on in a moment. That's pretty much the layout for OBS Studio. You can see we got some stuff at the top as well, but I will go on there as we get to it because I don't want to overwhelm you guys. I like to keep things simple and easy. So hopefully that's okay. So let's start with the fun part, and that's going to be designing our stream. So for example, let's start with this blank scene that we have. I'm going to right click it and I'm going to rename it. So click rename, and then I'm going to type in just chatting, and we'll just do a just chatting screen and a gaming screen, and maybe we'll do another one. So we'll do just chatting first, have that selected. And we're going to go to our sources. We're going to click the plus button. So the first thing that I want to add for our just chatting scene is going to be a video capture device. Now that's going to be any webcam. So I'm going to click on video capture device. I'm going to call this one webcam just so we know what it is. And then we will click OK. Now it's going to give us a list of all the different webcams that I have. I'm using the integrated one on my laptop, which looks like absolute crap, so we're not going to use that. I'm going to go through all of my different cameras. I'm going to click this one. Hopefully it's not in use. Okay, I'm going to go with the other one, and me. One thing to keep in mind is that if you have your webcam open in another piece of software, like my recording software, you can't double dip. So that's why I had to deactivate my second webcam in order to use it here. Hopefully that's not too confusing for you guys. But now that I deactivated my second webcam, I'm gonna go and actually use it. Hopefully, drumroll please. Okay, that's the wrong one. I got two of the same webcam. You guys gotta cut me some slack. So it's gonna be this one. And boom, there we go. That's my second webcam, if you guys remember from the intro of my YouTube video. But let's just have our webcam up and running. That's totally cool. And we're just gonna simply hit OK. So now that we have our webcam on the screen, we're ready to rock and roll because we have our just chatting, which is fantastic. That's great. And now we have our webcam. So the next part that we want to do for our just chatting scene is to have our Twitch chat appear over our stream so our viewers can see it. Now, if you're a one monitor user that wants to have their chat over their game because you don't have a second monitor to put OBS Studio and your Twitch chat on so you can read it, then I'll leave a card in the top right corner, which will show you which video to watch for that specifically. But we're going to add our Twitch chat over our stream so our viewers can see it. Forgive me for bouncing around a little bit, but this is the easiest way to get everything done to make it actually look nice. So we're gonna go to streamlabs.com, which I'll leave linked down below this video. And we're not actually gonna download Streamlabs desktop. This is another piece of streaming software in case you don't like OBS Studio. And I also have another video on this as well, but what we're gonna use is their chat feature. So we don't actually have to download anything, but what we're gonna do is click sign up in the top right corner. Or if you already have an account, you can click login and you're going to link your Twitch account to Streamlabs. So since I already have one, I'm going to click login with Twitch, but you should sign up with Twitch and link your Twitch account so it can be connected to Streamlabs so we can get that chat. So once you've logged into Streamlabs and your Twitch account is connected, then what we're going to do is go to the top where it has the search bar and we're going to type in chat box, that being one word. We're going to see chat box widget settings and we're going to click that. And it's going to give us options on what our chat box is going to look like. So as you can see here, this is the default Twitch chat box. So it's a transparent background and it'll show the user's name, some badges, as well as their text. Now you can go and feel free to switch between all of these different options for themes and it will change what it looks like. I prefer either the clean or I prefer the Twitch because it's just classic Twitch, right? But actually, I'm gonna go with clean for this option because I think I like it better. You can feel free to mess with all of the different settings here, like showing different badges, showing viewers platform icon, like if you're multi-streaming, but that's a future topic, which I do have on the channel, so don't worry, I'll cover multi-streaming in a later video. So you can feel free to customize it to your little heart's desire, as well as including a background color if you wanna have a background, change the text color, the font sizes. All of this is little customizations that you can do on your own. So take your time, pause the video and do that, and then come back if you want to really get crazy with this. So once you've customized your chat box to how you would like it, you can hit save settings and we're going to scroll up and then you see this thing that says widget URL. We're going to scroll over this and we're going to hit copy. Okay. Then we're going to hit copy again. Make sure you don't show this link to anybody, by the way. Otherwise, they'll be able to use your chat box, which you don't want them to. So once you've clicked copy and you've copied it again, we got that widget URL copied. We're going to go back to OBS Studio. Once we're back inside OBS, we're going to go down to the sources. We're going to add a new source by clicking the plus button. Then we're going to add a thing called browser. It's a browser source because we're going to take information from a browser URL and we're going to display it on our OBS. Now keep in mind, you do not have to have the Streamlabs tab open at all whatsoever. You can close it because it's just going to read it through this URL little browser source that we're adding. So you can close that tab and literally never touch it again if you don't want. But we're going to click browser and then we're going to call this one, I'm going to call it chat box. Then we're going to hit OK and see this URL portion right here. I'm going to hit Control V, also known as paste. It's going to paste this URL right here. And once you've done that, we're going to simply hit OK. Now you can see that our box is empty, but when we start sending messages through Twitch, you will see them pop up in here. So in order to test this, what we're going to do is take a quick detour over to the settings in the bottom right corner. We're going to click on settings. Then we're going to go to the stream tab. So we're going to click on stream. Then we're going to click on service and make sure it says Twitch. Then once you have Twitch selected, what you're going to do is click connect account. So we're going to click connect account. Then you're going to log in with your Twitch information. So put your info in and click login. And then after you have linked your Twitch account right here, you'll see a button that says disconnect account. And that means you're locked and loaded and you're good to go. So after you've done that, you can see we have a thing that says Twitch chat add-ons. And I would recommend putting on better TTV and Franker faces. That's just going to allow you to see certain emotes that people use in the chat. It's really just that simple. So once you've done that and your Twitch account is connected via that connect button, then we're gonna click apply and okay. And then you'll see these little boxes pop up. And if you don't see them pop up or you accidentally close them like this, then what you can do is go to the top left and you'll see a little tab that says docs. Then you'll be able to see a bunch of different stuff here. You won't be able to see some of these because they're just external things that I downloaded, so don't freak out if you don't see certain things. But what you should see is both chat and stream information. So what you can do is click stream information, and you can grab the top of it, and then you can drag it to a little area that you'd like to have it in. I'm gonna put it, let's say right here. And if you're having trouble getting it in, which that's what she said, but you can double click the top of this, so double click it, and it'll auto put it in. God, this is getting worse. It'll auto put it into OBS and you'll be able to dock it that way. Jeez, this is getting off the rails. So we can dock that. Then we can also go back to docs and then click chat and it'll bring our Twitch chat up as well. So I'm going to put, actually, I'm going to switch these. I'm going to put my stream information over to the right. I'm going to drag it by the side to make it much smaller because it doesn't need to be that large. God, I'm on a roll with these. And we can go and drag this on the left. And then we have our Twitch chat and our stream information. Now the stream information, this is the stuff that you'll be changing, like your title, your go live notification, the category, so what game you're gonna be streaming, as well as tags and other stuff. And once you've done all of that, then conveniently hidden behind my webcam, you'll hit done. And that'll basically save all of your stream information. And then that way it will automatically be updated on your Twitch profile. So we really don't have to worry about the stream information anymore. So low-key, I could get rid of it, or I'm just gonna leave it up. So in case you guys get worried, I don't want you guys to freak out. So now to circle back to our chat, we're gonna look on the left-hand side where it says send a message. We're gonna click there and I'm gonna send a message that says testing. I will hit enter and send. And you'll see it pop up on the screen. Now, if you don't see it pop up on the screen, do not freak out. That's totally okay. What you can do is one, go back to Streamlabs where your little chat box was, and just double check that you actually hit the save settings button. So hit save settings. Then you can go to your chat box source here. We'll double click it, and then you'll scroll down to the bottom where it says refresh cache of current page. So we'll click that, then hit OK, then go back and we're gonna send another message. And your message should pop up there. If it's still not showing up for you, you can go to Streamlabs and contact their help desk. They're super helpful and they'll be able to locate the issue for you. But as you can see here, we have our chat box on the screen. I'm just gonna send a bunch of crap on the screen just so you can see. And if you want to adjust the size of the chat box, what you can do is double click the chat box source and you'll be able to adjust these numbers here. So the width and the height. So let's say I don't want it as wide. Let's say I want it like, just about half as wide. So I'll put 500 there and then I'll hit OK. And it will change it so it's a little bit less wide. So if I send a really long message, for example, like this. Okay, that wasn't long enough. That's also what she said. There we go. So we have our chat box here. You'll be able to click and move it on your screen. But one really important piece of information to know is that your sources are stacked on top of each other. So for example, the webcam is below the chat box. So if I bring the chat box below the webcam, it's going to be behind the webcam. So make sure that you have things on top of each other. All of these that's what she said jokes are getting out of hand. I'm going to drag my chat box above my webcam because things can block each other, if that makes sense. So this is a pretty solid just chatting scene right now. So we're going to have our chat. We have our webcam. That's pretty good start for just chatting. So let's go over to our gameplay scene. So I'm going to click the gaming scene and that's going to switch over. If you're wondering what that scene transitions tab down in the bottom right corner is, that's what it is. So if I click and switch between scenes, it's going to do a fade that takes 300 milliseconds. You can also change it to a cut. So I can just hit gaming and it'll automatically cut to it instead of fading. You're able to switch around with those and play with that if you'd like. But moving back to the gaming scene, what we're gonna need obviously is a game to play. So I'm gonna go and boot up a random Steam game real quick. So I've gone ahead and booted up Hollow Knight, everyone's favorite game I know. And now that we have our game up and running, I'm gonna go back to OBS Studio so you can hold Alt and Tab. and be able to go back if you're only using one monitor. So I'm going to go and do that. I'm going to go back to OBS Studio, bring that bad boy up. And in order to capture our game, we have a couple of different options because one option might not work for you. So we got a bunch of different options because I thought ahead and I got you guys. Don't worry. So we'll go back to our sources under our gaming scene. We're going to click add a new source. And this time we have 3 different options. We have a game capture, which, you know, is obviously a game capture. What the heck else do you think it is? We also have a window capture, which will capture any window. So if you want to capture like a Chrome browser or any other window, aka game as well. And then we have a display capture, which will capture everything on your screen. So if you're looking at some lewd images, then you might not want to do display capture. But we'll start out with the tried and true. We'll do game capture. We'll just leave it as game capture. We'll hit OK. Then we're going to have mode. It's capture any full screen application. Obviously, that's not working right now, so that's fantastic. We're going to click on mode. We're going to do capture specific window. And then we're going to hit window. We're going to find Hollow Knight from the list. I'm going to click Hollow Knight. Give it a second. And boom, we got Hollow Knight right there. That's fantastic. That's good and great. Now, for example, if this was not working for you, or you just wanted to use capture full screen and this isn't working, what you can do is, first of all, I'm gonna hit OK, and we're gonna go back to Hollow Knight or whatever game you're playing. You can also go into the options of your game if it allows. We'll go to video options. You'll be able to change your full screen to like different things. So I'd always recommend using borderless windowed or borderless full screen if it's possible, but usually borderless windowed. Or you can do full screen off, so aka windowed mode, if you're having issues getting the game to capture. But usually borderless is your best option. So let's go back to OBS. So as you can see, now that it's in borderless, it's automatically captured any full screen application, which is great because if we have capture specific window on, anytime we play a new game, we're gonna have to go back into this game capture source and change the window, which is freaking annoying, and I don't like doing that. So depending on the game, it can be a little finicky. So like I said, capture specific window is also a great option, but let me go over some more options as well. So I'm actually going to get rid of this by clicking on it and pressing delete and then hit yes. So we have the other 2 options like window capture, which is pretty much the same thing as game capture, but this time it's like a window, so make sure you're playing in a windowed mode. If you're seeing this crap right here, then just go to capture method and choose Windows 10 and up, and bada boom, bada bing, you got it working here as well. So if the first method didn't work for you, you can use this as well. Mess around with those in-game full screen settings, so hit OK, and great. Now, if neither of these work for you, or if you want to capture your entire display, you'll just go to display capture. You can leave it like that, hit OK, and then you'll have capture method automatic, or you'll be able to mess around with those as well. And as you can see, it's capturing my entire monitor, but it's not capturing my monitor that I want to. So I have to change my display and go to my actual monitor. And now you can see what I like to describe as hell. So this captures everything on your screen, aka a capture inside a capture inside a capture. So if neither of those options work for you at the beginning, you can use this one if you want. So I'll hit OK. And I'm going to go back to just the game capture since it's working for me and I find it to be one of the better options. So I'll just go in, capture specific window, Hollow Knight, hit OK. And bada boom, bada bing, we got our game capture on the screen. That's fantastic. So now we will go and add a new source. So we're going to add a new one and we're going to add a video capture device. So we're going to add our webcam. But since we already added our webcam, we don't have to add a new source. We can just click add existing and then click webcam and then OK. And it's going to bring up our webcam. Now remember, it's on top of the game capture. So what we can do is grab the corner of our webcam, make it smaller, and then if you want, you can hold the Alt key on your keyboard and drag the sides to crop it. Also, if you happen to get literally anything from own.tv earlier, where I said you can get like webcam overlays and stuff, you'll be able to add those now as well. So for example, if you bought a webcam overlay or one of those packages, what you can do is click the Add Sources button. And if we want to add like a webcam overlay that's animated, we'll add a media source. If you're adding a static one, you'll add an image. So real quick, for those that did get one, we'll click media source for an animated one. I'll just call this one webcam overlay. If you didn't get one, that's totally fine. You don't have to, but I'm just going to show everyone. So just give me like 10 seconds or skip ahead. So I'm going to hit OK. Then I'm going to click browse and navigate to the file that I got from owned, which is also linked down below in case you guys forgot. So I'm going to click browse and find the file. So since I have that package that I showed you guys earlier, I'm going to navigate to the files. We'll do animated webcam overlay, and then I'm going to add this one right here. It's just a minimalistic one. They give you like a bunch of different options, but I'm just going to choose the minimal one. I'm going to click open, and you're not going to see anything right here, which is kind of weird. That's fine. But as soon as I hit OK, it'll pop up there. That's fine because we can double click the webcam overlay again. And what we're going to do is make sure it loops since it is an animated one. And that's really all you have to do when it comes to this. So then we'll hit OK again. And now I'm going to click and drag it. It's kind of bad that I picked Hollow Knight as the game because it's a very dark game. So being able to kind of match up the size of this is going to be a little bit wonky, but I'm going to try my best. So I'm just going to get it to the best of my abilities like so. And oh my God, that looks awful. Get a little bit lower. Okay, no, that's not fantastic. I'm going to get there, guys. Okay, there we go. That's perfect. Perfect. And to make sure I don't mess that up, what I can do is actually right click on the blank part of the sources. We're going to do add, and we're going to do a group. So we're going to group this. It's basically just having a little folder. I'm going to call it webcam folder. Click OK. I'm going to drag the webcam and the webcam overlay into this webcam folder. So that way, if I want to, first of all, I got to make sure my webcam overlay is above the webcam. I'm going to click just the webcam folder. And that way, if I click that, I can move both of them at the same time. So you're not moving crap around all the time and it's super annoying to refix. So you're welcome. And if you don't want to move things accidentally, then you can hit this little lock button and it'll lock them in place and you can't really move. Okay, why did that move? That's weird. Let's click lock. There we go. I must have not clicked the lock button. That was funny. Anyways, these are both locked, so now I can't move them. If you want to unlock them, self-explanatory, right? So let's put on some different chat messages, right? Because we already made it, so we might as well use it. So we're going to add browser source, add existing, because we've made it before, chat box, okay. And we got our chat box. We can put it wherever we want. So let's just say we want it over here. Let's send some test messages. Perfect, working great. And that's a pretty basic little gaming scene because we got our gameplay, we got our camera, we got our chat, and then we have our just chatting scene. So this is a very good starting point as a streamer. So now we need to get into the nitty gritty. And I know it's not that fun messing with settings because a lot of it's complicated, but I will dumb it down to the best of my ability because I like doing easy things. And when people talk complicated words, I get confused and I don't like that. So I'll keep it easy for you guys, I promise. So the first thing we need to do is go to the bottom right corner and go to the icky settings, I know. But what we're gonna do here is we'll start with general, okay? The only thing that you really need to know about general is nothing. Just kidding. But you got your English, you got your language. Okay, I'm not talking straight. Let's try this again. We'll start with general. You can change your theme to a bunch of different themes to make it look nicer. So for example, I don't know what Ratchny is. Oh, wow, that makes it look a lot nicer. I messed with this. This is dope. I don't know if you guys have this theme or if I randomly have it, but if you have it, that's sick. I'm actually gonna use this. So we're gonna click apply. Dope. You learn something new every day. I've been streaming for 6 years and I didn't know that. That's fantastic. That must be like a new thing, guys. Don't discredit me. Anyways, you have some more quality of life stuff like your output settings here, which is different from the actual output settings, by the way. Show confirmation dialog when starting streams. You could do that just to confirm that you don't accidentally hit start stream and you go live. So you can add a bunch of stuff here. It's really up to you. For the majority of things, you don't have to worry about anything in the general. It's really just quality of life stuff. So we'll move on to the stream tab, which if you guys didn't skip around, and I swear to God, if you guys skipped around, I'd be pissed. So don't skip around. Then you should have your services Twitch, servers auto, and then this should say disconnect. And then you have all, this is already done. We don't have to worry about this. We already did this earlier. But now the output, the dreaded output settings. Oh my God, they're awful. Not actually. They could be pretty easy, so I'll dumb it down. So the first thing is you're probably panicking because, oh my God, Cody, why does yours look different? Well, calm down. If you go to output mode at the top, change it from simple to advanced. And once you're on advanced, you will see this. So don't worry. The first tab we have is streaming. And what we have here is our streaming settings. So the audio track 1, this is going to be the audio track that goes to Twitch. So any audio source that we have on track 1, aka a game volume, our microphone volume, our desktop volume, that will be sent on track 1 because we will make sure it is, and that will be sent to Twitch. Get it? So everything on track 1 will be sent to Twitch, aka your viewers. Next, we have the Twitch VOD track, which is a little complicated for this video, so I'll touch on that in a future video. Then for the audio encoder, just ignore that. The video encoder, this is going to be something you want to get familiar with. The video encoder is usually the culprit that causes people issues, okay? So if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, I recommend you use NVIDIA NVENC, God, I can't pronounce that, NVIDIA NVENC H264. This will usually give you the best results as an NVIDIA card user. Now, if you don't have that, you might have to use a different encoder option. So everyone has a different computer, everyone has different graphics cards. If you have this, then good, great, fantastic, you're done. If you don't, I'm sorry, you got to put in a little extra work. You can Google which one you should use, and if you don't want to Google, then you can use X264, but knowing that you're using X264, your PC is going to be running a lot harder than it would be using something like NVIDIA NVENC H264. So please do yourself a favor, run a quick Google search if you don't have this and see which encoder option is best for you. I promise you, you're gonna have so many more headaches if you don't take this part seriously. So if you do have NVIDIA NVENC H264, then we're gonna roll with these settings to get started. So we'll scroll down to the encoder settings. Now, if you guys are buffering, you're dropping frames, you know, your internet can't handle it, these are the things that you're gonna wanna tweak. So to keep things simple, we're gonna set the rate control to CBR. The bit rate, this is what's going to be the quality of your stream. Personally, I stream at 1080p, 60 frames per second, and I have a bit rate of 6,000 kilobits per second. Now, there's gonna be diehard nerds that are gonna say, oh my God, Cody, 6,000 kilobits per second for a 1080p stream? What are you, crazy? That's gonna look awful. I personally think it looks great, so forget them. 6,000 kilobits per second, I think is plenty. However, if you have really good internet speed, you can bump this bad boy up to 8,000, 10,000, whatever you want. However, if you start dropping frames and running into issues, you're gonna wanna lower your bit rate. The bitrate is basically your internet speed, so if you have crap internet speed, keep it on the lower side, but start at 6,000 and you can adjust from there. And by the way, everybody has different recommendations for settings. This is what works for me, so if you're having problems, you can feel free to do your own research. But I've found this to be a good starting point. So we'll set our keyframe interval to 1, preset is slower, better quality, tuning is ultra low latency, everything else you can copy here. So I'll leave this on the screen for a second or two. Otherwise, you can pause it. Now, if you guys are using the X264 option, then honestly, I'm gonna apologize ahead of time because I never use this, but what I would start at is CBR, 6,000 kilobits per second. I leave this at 0, CPU usage preset, very fast. Profile, I probably mess with high or main, and honestly, I'd leave it like this. Now, like I said, everyone's setup is gonna be different. People are gonna be like, oh, well, you can do 8,000 kilobits per second or higher. And other people be like, well, you shouldn't do that because if you have a higher bit rate, it's going to put more stress on your viewers because they can't watch at that quality. You're going to hear a bunch of conflicting arguments, so just find what's best for you and ignore the rest of the noise that's on the internet. So once we have all of our settings here, we're going to click apply, and that's just going to save all of those settings, which is great. Now, I know this is a little stressful and it's okay, so let's take a deep breath. Ready? In and out. All right, that didn't work for me, so hopefully it worked for you. But we can move on to the audio tab right here, not the one on the left, the one at the top. So under advanced audio, we're going to change all of these bit rates to 320, which is 320 kilobits per second, giving us the best audio quality. You're welcome. And then we have the replay buffer, which I have a separate video on, so we're not going to worry about that right now. I'm just going to disable that so you don't have to worry about that, all right? I know some of you guys saw the button down here, so don't worry about it. I'll talk about it in a later video. So we're done with the output tab for now, and we're going to go to the actual audio tab on the left. Make sure this is 48, then stereo. Now, this is how we're going to add our audio sources for our microphone and our desktop audio. So we have our global audio devices. We'll start with the desktop audio. I like having it on default. And basically the desktop audio is going to be everything coming out of your computer speakers. So if you have a Chrome tab with Spotify running, playing music, that's going to come out of your desktop audio and your viewers be able to hear it. Now, if you have game volume, like obviously Hollow Knight has game volume, it's coming out of my computer speakers, right? So that'll be coming out of my desktop audio device right here. Now, I know default is going to reference the default audio device that my Windows computer is using. So everything's going to be coming out of there. Now, if default does not work for you, you can go and try all of the other ones on the list until you get your desktop audio to come out, because everyone's computer is different. I've said that a lot, but it's true. So moving on to the next tab, we have mic/auxiliary audio. We're just going to pick our microphone that we're using. I'm using this bad boy right here. And if you guys are curious on all the gear and everything that I use, I have a whole playlist on all my streaming gear and stuff, which I'll leave linked in the top right corner, which you can watch after. But literally my channel has videos on everything you're going to need to know for streaming. You got to know gear, you got to know know growth tactics, you got to know setup stuff, software, plugins, all that stuff. So just feel free to get your hands dirty, go browse through the channel. I got hundreds of videos, so just don't be shy, all right? And if you got any questions, just ask me over on Twitch when we stream every Monday. So we have our desktop audio and we have our mic audio. So that's all we need to know here. You can copy the settings if they're not already the same here. If you're having audio issues, you can also disable Windows audio ducking or undisable it. What is that? Enable it, I guess, because sometimes this is known to cause issues, but these settings work for me. But if you're having audio issues, try that bad boy right there. That's usually like a 1 in 100 case scenario, but if you're that 1 in 100, you're welcome. Otherwise, everything else down here, don't really worry about that. We're just gonna hit apply. When we hit apply, you should be able to notice that, boom, we have our desktop audio right there, and then we have our mic audio. So very quickly, I'm just gonna close this by hitting OK, and you'll be able to see these different meters. So this is our desktop audio playing the game volume, so it's picking up our game volume, and then we have our microphone, which goes up and down whenever I talk. And you can use these little sliders to adjust the volume of each. So if I see that my microphone is like peaking in the red, then, you know, take a step back, homie, and calm the heck down. And then if you don't want to do that, you should turn the volume down just a little bit. Just make sure you're not peaking. Otherwise, that gives you distortion and crackles. You don't want that. But basically, you can play around with these and, you know, just kind of mess around with that to get it to your little heart's desire. And you can see other things like my webcam overlay has an audio source, which obviously isn't playing any audio, so that's dumb. So if you want to get rid of that, you can click these 3 dots and then you'll be able to hide it. So click hide. And then boom, you're good. And if you want it back, you can just click on these 3 dots and then unhide all and get back to there. Or you can simply just mute it by clicking that little button there, but it's whatever, it's personal preference. So let's go back to the settings in the bottom right, go back to the audio tab. Audio is looking great. If you're not seeing your game volume, then either you need to go and change your resolutions because the game's like paused and it's not running, or you need to change your desktop audio to where you get to the device that's actually playing your game audio. So those are the things to keep an eye out for. But we'll move on to the video tab now. Sorry, I'm just making sure that I'm still recording because I've done like an hour video before and I wasn't recording halfway through because I had to go pee. And that was probably one of the most dark and depressing moments of my life, but I won't mention that. So anyways, we have the base canvas resolution, which is what your monitor size is. So I'm streaming on a 1080p monitor, so therefore my base canvas resolution will be 1080p. If you're playing on a different size monitor, then you'll be able to click it from the drop-down list here and click that. For the output scaled resolution, it's what you want to output your resolution at. So I said earlier that I want my stream to be 1080p 60 frames per second, which I think is a golden standard for Twitch streaming. However, if you have a crappy computer and you can't run at 1080p, then you can change your output scaled resolution to 720p, which is also pretty decent, and that way it won't be as intensive on your computer. However, I got a pretty good computer, so I'm gonna go with that. And if you want computer recommendations, go check that streaming gear playlist that I mentioned earlier. Now, for example, if you have different resolutions for your base and output, you're gonna need a downscale filter. But since I'm using 1080, then I don't need one. But if you are doing this, then you're going to want to choose Landscope because it will give you the best quality available. Now, I'm not using different output resolutions and base resolutions, so I'm going to go back to this, and therefore I don't need a downscale. So yay for me. Common FPS values, I'm going to want to make sure it's common, right? And then change this to 60 because I want to stream at 1080p 60 frames per second. Now, if you can't handle that, or you're lagging, or you're buffering, or whatever, you can change this down to 30 frames per second, and that'll help. And then if it's still doing that, you can change it to 720, 30 frames per second. Any lower than that, and you're gonna look like a Minecraft streamer, so I wouldn't recommend it. And by Minecraft streamer, I mean like, you know, the characters in Minecraft, not people that stream Minecraft, whatever, you know what I mean. So we got our output video settings. So we got 1080p, 60 frames per second, but that might change for you and your setup. So we're gonna click apply to save those settings, and we'll move on to the hotkeys tab. Hotkeys can be a lot of fun and very useful, but they can also be frustrating for people that don't understand what the heck they do. So to keep it very simple, if you don't know what a hotkey is, basically, if we want to have a hotkey for whenever we want to start stream, we're going to click here. I'm going to type a key on my keyboard. So let's just say I'm going to click anytime I type the letter L. That's a horrible hotkey to have because you're going to type L all the time. But if you have like a number pad, you can put like one of the number pad ones. Just make sure that your num lock is either on or off. I forget which it needs to be on in order to trigger it, but experiment with that. And then you'll be able to set a hotkey to start the stream. So anytime you press that key, it will start the stream. You can have a different hotkey to stop the stream as well. And if you don't want to mess with these right now, and I don't blame you, then you can hit remove and worry about that at a later date. Why is this not getting rid of it? Okay, hit that instead of that. There we go, easy. So you can feel free. There's literally hundreds of different hotkeys that you can do. So you can like show, you can push to mute your mic, push to mute other stuff. There's a bunch of stuff, all right? So I wouldn't worry too much about it when you're first starting out. I also have a dedicated video on that too, but you guys probably already know that by now. So we're gonna hit apply, and we're going to move on to the next step. But before we get to the next step, if you guys want more resources and stuff to help you grow your stream and just become a better streamer in general, then you guys can go to my new website, cpawsmusic.com, where you'll find my ultimate guide to starting a Twitch channel, which is a course that will hold your hand step by step to becoming a Twitch streamer. There's also quizzes and reviews and everything in there. It's very hands-on. We also have a free streamer's cheat sheet, which you can download for free, which will tell you what you should do before, during, and after your streams to grow your content, as well as content reviews, newsletters, coaching, all that stuff, as well as my Twitch kick and everything else you're ever going to need. So feel free to check this out. It might help you out. So moving on to the accessibility options, I'm surprised I didn't stutter that one. You can change different colors on stuff. Personally, I don't use it, but it's there if you want to use it. Then we have the advanced settings. Now this is very crazy. You don't really want to mess with a lot of the stuff here. But what I would do is scroll down all the way down until you see dynamically change bitrate to manage congestion. I would personally leave this on because what this will do is if, let's say, your girlfriend or significant other is streaming a 4K movie on Netflix and it's sucking up all the bandwidth while you're trying to stream Fortnite and your bandwidth just can't handle it, your internet's freaking out, instead of you being all choppy and stuttery and dropping frames, it'll just decrease the quality of your image of your stream and your video quality. So that way it's a smooth stream still. It just looks like crap. So that way you can be like, yo, can you like watch not at 4K please and just get that situated? Or if your internet's just giving you a hard time that day, I would prefer to have this on because I'd rather have my viewers have a not so looking good version of me instead of it like that. You know what I mean? So I prefer to have that enabled. So once we've done that, we're gonna hit apply. And okay, now we can take another deep breath because I know we've gone over a ton of stuff, but hopefully this has been super helpful thus far and we're almost there. So a friendly reminder to drop a like on the video if you didn't already. So this video will reach more people to help them learn how to stream. So we'll do a quick review on everything just to make sure it's working. We have our game volume running here. We have our microphone volume here. We have our just chatting scene. We have our gaming scene. If you wanted to add like a, starting soon screen or whatever, you can go and click this add scene button, say starting soon, and then hit OK. Then you'll be able to add an image here, and then you'll be able to put your starting screen image there and decorate it. You can get crazy with the scenes, but this is a very minimal setup for a first-time streamer that I think is fantastic. So we have all of our sources. Everything's looking good. We're going to change our stream title here, our go live, our category, change everything you need to do, and then hit done, which is behind my webcam. So it'll save all of our settings. Everything's looking good. Our settings are fine. So now is the magic moment when we get to hit the start streaming button, okay? So let me go over to my Twitch channel to show you guys what's gonna happen. So I'm on my burner Twitch account, so that way I don't annoy all of my followers for this video stream. So as you can see, we're currently offline on our Twitch channel. So let's go to OBS. Now I'm gonna hit the start streaming button. So we're gonna hit start streaming, okay? Now you'll see all of this information at the bottom. We're streaming at 60 frames per second. We have our CPU, it's really low, that's really good. It says we're live for 10 seconds. It says our kilobits per second is like 6,300. That's great. It's green. We're not dropping any frames. So it looks like our settings that we picked are perfect for our internet and computer. If this is red or yellow and you're dropping a lot of frames, go back, lower the bit rate, try streaming at, a lower video quality and mess around with those settings. Let's go over to Twitch to see what happened. So as you can see now, we are currently live on Twitch. It says live here. We've been live for 1 minute and 40 seconds because I had to do a retake because I misspoke once again. Shocker, I know. But as you can see, we're live. We're all good. We can send some messages and chat. And then obviously there's going to be a small delay, but not a crazy delay, and that's okay. So we're live and streaming, but there's a couple things really quick that you need to do before you stop watching this video. First of all, let's go back to OBS. Then we're gonna click stop streaming. So it's gonna stop our stream. Let's go back to Twitch, see what happens. It immediately ended our stream, which is great. However, many people skip this step and they aren't able to see their VODs. So they're like their past broadcasts. So go to your Twitch channel, go to the top right corner, Then you're gonna go to, what is it? I think it's settings, I wanna say. Just kidding. You wanna go to the top right corner and go to creator dashboard. Then you're gonna go to the settings tab. You're gonna go to, I believe, stream. And then you're gonna change this to low latency, so that way there's not as much delay between you and your viewers. However, if you're playing like a, you know, a first person shooter and you don't want people stream sniping you, you can do normal latency. So that way they don't have your real-time interactions and stuff, but I like low latency. Also turn on disconnection protection. That's a fun word to say. And then this is the important part right here. Make sure store past broadcast is on. For whatever reason, I don't think it's enabled when it's on by default. So that's dumb. So make sure this is on before you start your stream. Otherwise, if you start at midstream, it's not going to save it. But if this is on and always publish VODs is on, then you're good. It will automatically save your past broadcasts. So that way you can go to your, what is it? Where is the content tab, video producer, and then you'll be able to see all of your past broadcasts here. And if you want, you can click this and download them. So that way you just have access to all of your archives of your videos. So make sure that setting is on. Otherwise, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. But I know we went over so much information. So when you're ready, watch the rest of this playlist to the side of me to set up your alerts and all that other fun stuff. But my name's Cody, and I'll see you in the next one.